but you was smart to drop that quilt over her. Kept the buzzards away whilst we dug that hole." He placed his hat back in its spot, pushing his dark, tight curls from beneath. I stared at Eli, his skin blacker than the rock coal Daddy would bring home from time to time. He was a good friend, stood by Momma and Daddy through thick and thin. The sun peeked through the newly formed leaves of the old oak tree, casting a shine on every one of those curls that boasted around Eli's ears. "You're starting to look a little shabby there, Eli." I smacked at a curl. He busted into a guffaw that shook every bone in his body. "You always make a man laugh, Miss Worie, even now in the shadow of your own troubles. Lordy, lordy, like you said, it is what it is. Ain't my fault, leastwise I hope not. But I don't understand, Eli. I did everything Mama ever told me, never give her no reason to pull such a stunt. I thought my being good would make up for the boys." "You stop right there, girl. Every man makes his own choices. Calvin chose his swindling and conniving. Justice made his bed with a bottle of hooch. Them ain't your doings. And I feel right sure Miss Louise was proud of you. Ain't many young girls would choose staying home to help their mama over being a wife and mother." I laid across the mound of dirt and commenced to sob. Long, hard wails. Eli stood solid by me, bending down every once in a while to pat my shoulder. It wasn't long before the buzzards went to squalling overhead. "Get away!" I hollered. "Go on! Can't you see we buried Mama?" Eli took my arm and lifted me to my feet. "She's safe. We buried her deep and covered her with stones and more dirt on top of that. Ain't nothing can get to her." He tugged me toward the house. "But I seen them beasts peck at the ground until they dig up what's buried. Buzzards don't care what the meal is, just so it's fresh. Like I done said, she's safe. She'll sleep unbothered." I clapped my hands together and knocked the red clay loose. "You need to get yourself cleaned up." Eli yanked a dress off the clothesline as we passed. "You stoke that fire in the fireplace and hang the pot. I'll pump some fresh water for you to boil, then I'll send Bess along after a while to bring you some supper." My legs grew weaker with every step to the house, till my ankles finally twisted and I sat on the ground with a thud. There was no quiet in my stomach either. My gut twisted and churned until I couldn't hold it no more. Eli held my head while I vomited. "Miss Worie, you been through a lot today. Help me get you inside now. Come on, let's go. Get your feet under you. Come on." He slipped his arms under mine and lifted. I tried to stand, but I couldn't. Eli hung the clean dress over his shoulder, then scooped me up in his arms and carried me. He turned his head to one side, trying to get a good breath. There wasn't nothing to say. I knew I smelled like sweat and blood. And I knew the only reason them buzzards were circling Mama's grave was because they caught the vile scent from my clothes. Eli stood me by the screen door. His face said everything his mouth wouldn't, like what happened here to rip the screen out of the door frame. But in his kindness, he didn't ask. He pulled open the broken screen door and pushed his shoulder against the heavy inside wooden door. It sounded like a wild cat screaming as it swung open on its rope hinges. "I'm going to set you in this here chair while I stoke the fire. You ain't in no shape to mess with a fire." "The pot is already filled. Mama was ready for me to wash clothes." Eli nodded and headed into the back room. I heard him moving and stacking wood in the fireplace. Then there was the puff of the bellows. The smell of hot embers filled the house as the fire caught and went to burning. Eli laid the dress he'd yanked from the line on the table. Then he squatted at my side. "Miss Worie, I'm going on home. Get yourself cleaned up. You reek of blood. Your purty skin is tainted red." He brushed my hair from my eyes, then kissed me on the head. "Me and Bess will be back later on. You hear me?" I heard him, but words wouldn't work their way out. "Worie, you hear?" I nearly jumped out of my skin. "Yeah, I hear." The words quivered as they come out. He squeezed my shoulder and left. It didn't seem real, none of it. Worse, it made no sense. I gived up everything, a husband and a new life, to stay and help.